Okay. Time. With all the tools and innovations that we have at our disposal, the quality in the coffee we're drinking is consistently becoming better. Now with that, you guys as my guests, I as your barista, we are all rewarded. We are rewarded by having more time. We got better time to understand. We got better time to share. But most of all, we get more time to enjoy. So, my name is Alexander. I'm really delighted to have you here at my table. I'm going to start preparing some signature shots, but I'm going to serve these last. I'll start you guys off with espressos and this truly amazing coffee. Now, this coffee is produced by Nestor Lasso at his farm Il Diviso in Colombia. Now, he and his brother, Adrian, they discovered this variety called Ombligon some years ago. And when they cultivated this coffee at the farm, they saw it hold a truly great potential. So they decided to take it through one of Nestor's more complex processing methods. Now, there's going to be a lot of information about the process. So right now, you don't need to note anything down about the process. I'll illustrate this for you. And right here is a paper sheet you can take with you afterwards. So the process, it starts with bright red cherries like that, being picked at a uniformly high brix between 21 to 24. Now this ensures that all the flavor potential coming from the fruit meats are equal and even. These cherries are then put in an open tank to oxidize for 48 hours, which is where all these excess juices are continuously recirculated back into the process. Now this ensures that all the fruit meats are leaving as much potential for flavor as possible. Now this coffee is then rinsed in cold water to get rid of floaters and defects, maintaining clarity and uniformity. Then the coffee is rinsed in hot water for thermal shock process, which is going to loosen up the molecular structure, allowing flavor compounds to penetrate through the silver skin and cartilage, so it can go deeper into the core of the seed. Now this is also going to kickstart the fermentation process. Now to ferment the coffee, they spray the coffee with a brewer's yeast before sealed for 38 hours for anaerobic fermentation process. Now this is going to introduce a deeper complexity, more vivid acidity, and wider range of flavors. The coffee is then mechanically dried for 12 hours at 45 degrees. Now this is going to decrease the total drying time needed for the coffee. And to ensure that all the coffee seeds holds onto the flavor, this coffee is then put in a dark room. This is to stabilize, ensuring all the compounds developed are kept more intact with the seeds. The coffee is then moved to canopies to dry for 15 days down to that target 10.5% humidity that is best for roasting, transport, and storage. Now, this is truly amazing, all this information. It truly showcases Nestor's brilliance and innovation on how to elevate quality in coffee. But I want to be totally honest with you. Presenting a coffee with this much information, it's a bit of an overkill. So I'm going to do this once again, but this time in a way that I would normally do with my friends back home. I would normally start with where the coffee is from. This coffee comes from Pitalito in Huila, growing at 1,750 meters. Now this unique cultivar, in combination with slower maturation times at this altitude, and Ombligon variety, gives us a coffee that is fruity and tropical. And you can note down the first flavor notes as pineapple and passion fruit. This complex process with fermentation and thermal shock gives us higher intensities, but also a new range of flavors, and you can note it down as a sparkling citrusy acidity. And flavor note of cherry candy. The mechanical drying and resting period ensures that this coffee holds onto the elements, giving us mouthfeel, but also a longer finish. You can note it down as flavor notes. Thank you. You can note down the tactiles. It's coating and soft. Giving us a last note of chocolate with raisins. So for these espressos, I want you to do your visuals, but hold on with drinking, okay? So here you go. So by presenting coffees like this, I allow myself more time to focus on my preparation. Nestor's coffee is meticulous when it comes to attention to detail. So I, as a barista, need to do equal. And that's why we baristas, we use a range of different tools. But the most important tool for the espresso course is compound chilling. It is these frozen steel cubes that is locking in more of the volatile aromatics that would normally vapor away. Now this is what gives us clarity and juiciness in the cup. And it also affects the finish for the espressos. And you can note it down as juicy and lingering. So by taking a moment to better understand with the coffee we're working, we allow ourselves more time to focus on how we share it. So I want you guys to have the best out of this espresso. So if you please stir up 6 times, you can use a small glass for your spoons, and with that, I'll give you the time to enjoy. Ish. Guys, ready? So this coffee is truly amazing. But this is not a common coffee to find in any coffee shop. So where does coffees like this end up? And I think that most of the time, coffees like this would end up in the hand of the more enthusiastic barista or the driven baristas. Now we often look to this stage for inspiration, picking with us tools and trends that are proven to work, like pin distributors, compound chilling. But most important for the course I'm making now, the milk course, is of course freeze distilled milk. Something I personally want to see more of in coffee shops. So I wanted to create the best milk to pair with Nestor's coffee. So I started with the best milk I found in Norway. It's from Tine dairies, having 4% fat. Into here, I blended 20% Oatly oat milk. And then I freeze distilled all of it down to 60%, giving more focus on intensity, sugars, giving pronounced notes of vanilla and oats. And this is just gonna pair even better with this espresso. It changes some of the way we perceive the acidity and also reveals some of the complexity and the bitterness of this coffee. Giving us flavor notes that you can note down, starting with salt caramel. Lemon tart. And strawberry ice cream. These milk drinks are going to be rich and creamy. And in the finish, the sweetness lingers and is paired with a more rigid structure. That's because of the oat milk, giving us this full impression of melted ice cream, pairing perfectly with a strawberry ice cream flavor. Here you go, please enjoy. So to have my coffee roasted, I called out to Alexander Ruas and his team at Standard Roasters in Sweden. The way they roast their coffee in the Nordic style is one of my favorites. you go, please enjoy. And because they focus on balance in the roast, I decided to do the same recipe for all my shots to have the best balance in all my drinks. It's 20.7 grams to 47 grams out. Here you go. Please enjoy. And this does so that I, as a barista, can serve the drinks that I personally want to serve. For you as well, please enjoy. Okay, so as I had Nestor's coffee in hand, I needed to play around with it to better understand it. So, as we discovered in the espresso course, by cooling it down, we open up the acidity to become more present in the cups. Now, by cooling it all the way down to ice cold, which I did in this hyper chiller, we changed the acidity. It becomes more tropical, stone fruit-like, and holds onto that pineapple flavor note. So, this drink, I'm gonna keep holding cold on top of ice. So, the first ingredient I'm gonna use is gonna represent understanding. So, I looked to Nestor's processing method, and I found I could do the same process, but with 200 grams of blackcurrants, 100 grams of saline solution, or salt water, and circulate it for 2 full days. I would create a juice that perfectly fits into this drink. Into this juice, I added 100 grams of sugars to create a syrup. Now here, I have 20 grams. Now this is blackcurrant. I specifically chosen blackcurrants because it plays perfectly with the cold espresso, giving us new flavor notes from that cherry, which you can note down as cherry cola. Now, this mouthfeel from blackcurrants also holds on this coating and juicy sensation in this drink. And because it's a syrup, it gives balance to this drink that is now ice cold. So the next ingredient is going to represent how we share. Now here I have a clear infused water, 60 grams. Now to create this water, I started with 30 grams concuna bark, simmering in 1 liter of hot water for about 1 hour. Then I added 2 grams of citric acids, 10 grams of sugars to stabilize it. And to blend all these ingredients together, I'm going to take it through the soda streamer, which you see behind me. Now the soda stream is going to give us bubbles and blend everything together. The bubbles ensures that the quinine we extracted from the infused water is going to play with that stone fruity acidity and give us new note of peach. So, when you get this drink, I want you to do at least 3 sips. In between each of the sips, I want you to stir or swirl the glass at a gentle time. Now this is going to open up the drink, allowing us to find more of the complexity in Nestor's coffee, giving us a new note, not in the first sip, but in the second too, as green grape. This drink is juicy, lingering, and well balanced. So this drink, as we look at it fairly close, is a fairly complex drink, but by taking a moment to understand, it's still a simple drink. You can hold on till I call my time, because it represents how we understand, so we can create a sharing that is a bit easier, more enjoyable, giving us more time to enjoy. And with that, please enjoy.